Hi guys, welcome back to Snakes and Adders Introducing series. Today we're going to look at this gorgeous species, the Russian rat snake, Latin name Elaphe schrenckii. It was first described in 1873 as Elaphe schrenckii. Alexander Strauch was a Russian naturalist and herpetologist, and he was the curator of the Zoological Museum in St. Petersburg. Strauch is credited with establishing St. Petersburg as one of the world centres for herpetology. Species named in his honour include Blanus strauchii, an amphibian, Stenatus strauchii, an Australian lizard that looks surprisingly like Gerosaurus flavigularis, which is the African yellow-throated plated lizard, Aremius strauchii, which is a southeast European lacerted lizard, Gloidus strauchii, which is a Chinese pit viper, and Phrynocephalus strauchii, which is a toadhead agama. Taxonomic changes from the original Elaphe schrenckii were Calopeltis conspiculatus in 1887 by Giglioli, hello, where are you going, monster, and Salvadori. Coluber schrenckii in 1894 by Boulanger, and then Coluber virgatus in 1898 by Boettger. So Coluber is modern day American racers, or certain species of American racers. Then to Elaphe schrenckii in 1907 by Stejneger, and then Elaphe schrenckii in 1935 by Pope. So that now becomes a triominal name, and that means that we've got subspecies, and the subspecies was the Korean rat snake, or a Amur rat snake, Elaphe anomala. Elaphe schrenckii anomala, which would later become its own species, Elaphe anomala. Elaphe schrenckii in 1996 by Schultz, and then confirmed as such by Uetiger in 2002, Burbink and Lawson in 2007, and Wallach in 2014. The name schrenckii belongs to Leopold von Schrenck, a Russian naturalist who was honoured with this species. The type locality for this species is Hingan, or the Hingan Mountains, eastern Siberia, Russia. Yeah, it is as harsh as it sounds. The weather data is insane. Hot season, if you can call it that, June to August, 25 to 26 degrees Celsius. Okay, that's a daytime high. A nighttime low, midsummer or hot season, of 12 to 15 at night. Cool season, December to February, minus 18 to minus 21 during the day. And at night, minus 27 to minus 31. How do you survive? Dry season, November to April, 4.8 to 11 mil of rain. Wet season, June to August, 74 to 100 mil of rain. It should be noted that this is a particularly harsh locality, and the coastal regions where, according to Schultz, the main body of the population of schrenckii is centred, would fare far better weather-wise. The main population is centred around coastal eastern Russia, in a region known as Primorsky Krai. Vladivostok in that region still has harsh weather patterns, but nothing quite as insane as we just saw in Hingan. So the weather data for Vladivostok is hot season June to July, 21 to 24 Celsius. So we've lost a bit in the daytime high, with a nighttime low of 12 to 17. So actually we've gained a couple of degrees there, so a bit more linear. Cool season, minus 3 to minus 5. Yeah, that's workable. And then a nighttime low, which is a still ridiculously harsh, minus 14 to minus 18. And that's the least harsh of the locations. So, oh God, minus 18. How deep must these guys have to go to get away from that without frosting and killing themselves? It's insane, man. Dry season, November to February, with 0.5 to 3.7 millimetres of rain. Wet season, June to August, with 24 to 37 millimetres of rain. Either way, due to the figures, we know this species in nature is going to have a seriously deep brumation to be able to get through these seasons, and it will be protracted as well. Schultz noted that in the wild, this species could spend up to 6 months in brumation. In captivity, we tend not to be that harsh. As animals mature, we will begin to notice, we will begin to notice a slowdown in food intake and activity and begin to offer brumation periods. This is the snake's own body clock stopping them from feeding and becoming naturally inactive. Brumation would ideally last for around 4 months from beginning to end, including your bank times. After all, we don't have to be as harsh as nature. Many keepers will utilise fridges as a way of controlling low-end temperatures without the risk of frost, and we can get relatively easily into single digits without it being a problem, and take them down to between 5 and 7 Celsius, which is usually number 1 on the thermostat of your fridge. When active and in the feeding portion of the year, Russian rat snakes are ravenous feeders. Their metabolism is prodigious. Schultz noted that under optimum conditions, fecal material could be produced in as little as 24 hours after consuming prey. This may then, therefore, make them slightly higher maintenance in the cleaning department in regards to your vivarium. Breeding should not be attempted with animals that have not been overwintered, for the simple reason that spermatogenesis, or your male sperm count, increases in colder weather. Oogenesis also takes place in the females, where follicles will begin to form in the oviduct ready for the coming season. Without the winter and this period for that process to happen, infertile litters are a real risk, and females' health might also be put in jeopardy. Assuming the animals have been overwintered correctly, copulation and eggs will result with clutch sizes of between 12 and 20 eggs. A wild specimen was reported as having 50 over in an oviduct, but this is remarkable, exceptional, and well questionable. Incubation at 27 to 28 degrees Celsius will result in hatchlings between 55 and 65 days. Babies pose zero problems establishing because of their larger size, and will establish and accept fuzzy mice as their first meal. Hi. As you can see, for a slightly larger rat snake, Russian rat snakes quite possibly are the tamest of all rat snakes. In fact, they will probably go toe-to-toe with a corn snake and hold their own comfortably in the naturally tame department, without handling, without extra work, without, they're just such wonderful snakes. Now, when they're born, they do look slightly different, and it does make them a nightmare for proper identification with their versus their cousin, Elaphe animala, the Amur rat snake, because even the Russian rat snakes are born a lot lighter with more tans and yellows and bandings. So this is one of our little CB19. Excuse him, one. Come this way. I'm trying to go over there. This is one of our little CB19 Russian rat snakes, and there's a lot more tans and yellows and blacks, and this will then fade off and the bands will widen as the animal grows. So we can see a compare and contrast to our colour phases. The problem is the animalas will stay almost in this colour scheme and lighten out with some other tans, yellows, maybe oranges. And their definition diffuses in a slightly different way. But as they grow, we don't really know. Also, by looking at the plates in Schultz's book, Elaphe Fitzinger, it also becomes apparent that the localities vary wildly in the colour palette for the animals. So if animals that we would traditionally assume to be schrenckii are listed as animala, and animals that we would traditionally assume were animala are listed as schrenckii, and this is based on the area of collection and photographing. Is there a natural element of overlap? I don't know, and I can't say, but this is the classic Russian colour palette, black with wide mucky yellow dispersed crossbars or flank streaks. God, you're pretty, aren't you? Aren't you pretty? Temperaments in captivity, at the hot end, 26 to 27 degrees Celsius is fine, with the opportunity to move away. This is an active and alert snake, and will spend time roaming and investigating its enclosure. It is not a snake that's just going to hide away all day, and for that reason they make fabulous captives. Hi, what are you doing? Yes. It's always worth providing a damp hide which they can retire to help them shed their skin. This animal does have a predilection for water, so it may bathe. One of its other common names is the Manchurian water snake in the areas of China where it occurs. So that's interesting. It shows that these animals really do like to be around water sources. So an opportunity to bathe or an opportunity to get inside a moss box would probably be most welcomed. Minimum size enclosure for an adult Russian rat is probably going to be a 4 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot vivarium. Our snake's going to mature to around 6 feet in length and be reasonably heavy bodied. This girl is average size. She's not big by any stretch of the imagination, and they can end up with far larger heads in time. They are just so naturally inquisitive and without fear, and that confidence that the snakes have to look around and investigate just makes them such a joy. And for kids who like having snakes that are characters, then it is hard to beat them. I mean, the truth be told, that the Russian rat snake keepers that are out there are they love that. I mean, all snake keepers love their snakes, but Russian rat snake keepers adore their snakes. They sing their praises from the rooftops. Yes, they may not be the most visually striking snake in the world, but there's something about a Russian rat snake's personality that just makes them almost the perfect pet. The only thing that probably puts people off slightly is that 6.5 foot adult size, but realistically, it's not an unmanageable animal by any stretch of the imagination. As always, in the vivarium, multiple hides should be provided, climbing opportunities should be provided, the water bowl and the damp hide. You could do far, far worse than keep a snake such as the Russian rat snake. I think these snakes are absolutely amazing, and I love them. I love them, and I would have zero hesitation in offering even a beginner child a Russian rat snake with zero worries about it ever wanting to be a biter or be aggressive, and the fact that, hi, you just don't care. You're not scared of me, are you? Hi. This is what it's all about. This is the sort of snake that is a superb role model for how captive snakes can be and how much fun they can be to hold and work with. Do your research and look into them. The Latin name is Elaphe schrenckii. See you soon, guys. From Chaz and Paul at Snakes and Adders, peace.